Hi, it's really good to have you with. I'm Abhinandan Pal and you are at A2P from Access to Phoenix. In the last video, I had completed the discussion on single sideband suppressed carrier signal, both the generation processes and the demodulation process. Now in this video, let me start with the advantages and limitations of SSBAC signal and also look into what are the applications of it. And then I will head into the main topic of today. SSBAC signal is mainly generated using phase shift method, and this method is useful because in this method SSBAC signal can be generated at any frequency and low audio frequencies are used, but despite all these advantages it has some drawbacks as well. The main problem that arises is that designing of 90-degree phase shifter network is very critical. This shift in phase is generated by Hilbert transform, and I have discussed Hilbert transform previously, so watch that video in case you haven't. So Hilbert transform is used to generate 90-degree phase shift, but if the phase shift is not exactly 90 degree, then distortion occurs, and hence the output signal is never a single sideband suppressed carrier signal. So if we wrap up things about SSBAC signal, then we can say that its advantages are it uses very small bandwidth in comparison to other schemes and more power is saved in this process. This SSBAC signal is the most efficient among all the schemes. Presence of noise in this case is very less and distortion is also less. And the disadvantages are that transmitter and receiver side contains very complex circuits. It is only applicable for voice signals, and the third method is very expensive. So since it is only applicable for voice signals, it is used in communication over voice like in air, land and marine communication, radio and point-to-point communication, military communication, etc. And that's the problem. Audio signals and video signals cannot be transmitted using SSBAC scheme, and hence we require a better scheme. And since we don't want it to be transmitted in DSB-SC schemes as well, we have to have a bit compromise between DSB-SC and SSBAC signals. And that is what is the main topic of today, that is vestigial sideband suppressed carrier signal. So let me now discuss more on VSBAC signal. Let me give the graphical representation of all the schemes. First one is DSB-FC signals or normal AM signal. For the sake of time, let us consider that the message signal is this. So in DSB-FC signal, the output graph will be this. In DSB-SC signal, the carrier signal is suppressed. So the graphical representation will be like this in DSB-SC. Next we discuss the SSBAC scheme where only one sideband is passed. So the graphical representation is like this, considering the upper sideband is passed. So this is the case in SSBAC signal, and what I am going to discuss today is VSBAC signal. What happens in this scheme is that considering that the upper sideband is passed, some portion of the upper sideband is rejected and some portion of the lower sideband is included. The graph looks like this is the SSBAC signal. Now in this case, for VSBAC signal, it will be something like this. Some portion of the lower sideband is included in it, and this much portion of the upper sideband is rejected. So you can clearly understand the difference between the different schemes. So since you have learned what VSBAC signal is, let us now discuss how they are generated. The block diagram for this is like this. So through the balanced modulator, message signal and carrier signal are passed. The output is a product of them. So XT is MT into CT. Then this XT is passed through a high pass filter or a band pass filter. Both will work, and we will learn that how. And the output of this filter circuit is actually the signal that you are desiring to generate. That is the VSBAC signal. Now you have to remember that to generate VSBAC signal, this HPF or BPF is non-ideal. Suppose the impulse response of the filter is taken as HI of t, and the Fourier transform of it will be capital HI of f. Now since the filter is non-ideal, the cutoffs will not be sharp. There will be a finite transition between the zero level to the higher level, that is from stop band to pass band. It will take some time to reach. So if we try to demonstrate it graphically, then it will be something like this. and you can clearly see that this part is the stop band part, this part are the pass band, and in between these two there will be a transition band. So xt is mt into ct, that is xf is mf convolution cf, and on the other hand yt is convolution of xt and hit, that is in frequency domain yf is xf into hif. Now mf convolution cf will result in this, and so yf will be xf into hif, that is half mf minus fc plus mf plus fc into hif. So yf is this, and this is the VSBSC signal. Now we should be able to understand what HIF is, and for that let me take you to the demodulation of VSBSC signal. Synchronous detection or coherent detection is used to demodulate VSBSC signal, just like other signals like DSB SC signal and SSBSC signal. And the reason why envelope detector cannot be used is that in these signals, say DSB-SC or SSB-SC or this VSB-SC, the carrier signal is suppressed, and if there is no carrier signal, then envelope detector cannot be used, because if you remember that the envelope was formed from the slope of the carrier signal, and in that case the amplitude was varying with respect to the amplitude of the carrier signal, and there we were able to find the envelope of it, and correspondingly we are able to detect the message signal. But since the carrier signal is suppressed in these signals, synchronous detection is the only way to demodulate it. And as you know, the general block diagram for this process is this: the signal that we want to demodulate, that is yt here, and the signal which is coherent to the carrier signal that was used to generate this VSBSC signal are the inputs to the balance modulator. The output ZT is the input to the low pass filter, and the output of it is desired to be the message signal. So in this case, ZT is yt into ct. So in frequency domain, ZF is yf convolution cf. So ZF is half into y of f minus fc plus y of f plus fc, right? Now how to get yf minus fc and yf plus fc? We have to just shift this signal by fc on positive and negative side, and we will get yf minus fc and yf plus fc. So yf minus fc is this, and yf plus fc is this, and from this we will get ZF as this. Now this ZF or ZT is passed through a low pass filter with cutoff frequency of FM, that is signals with higher frequencies will get suppressed. So these frequencies will be rejected by the low pass filter, and SF will be this. Now since it is intended that SF is equivalent to MF, that is this term here should be equals to some constant as 1. So HI F plus FC plus HI F minus FC is 1, and this is the condition for the non-ideal high pass filter or band pass filter. So the non-ideal filter that we will be using here should have a characteristics for which this condition holds, and when this condition holds, the output SF will be 1 upon 4 MF, that is ST will be 1 upon 4 MT, and thus we have demodulated VSBSC signal. Now let me put some more light on HIT. The frequency domain of HIF is this. So the graph for HIF plus FC will be a frequency shift of FC towards the negative side in HIF, which will be like this, and graph for HIF minus FC will be the frequency shift of HIF by FC towards the right side. And so when we will add these two signals, will result in a flattened graph like this, where the amplitude will be 1. And for that, this slope here from stop band to pass band will be symmetric about FC, because that's when we will add these two signals. At this point, around 0 frequency, they will add up to form 1. If they would have been non-symmetric, then after addition, we will not get a flattened graph. So the filter that we will be using to generate VSBSC signal will have two conditions. One is that this condition should hold, and the second one will be the slope of the transition should be symmetric about FC. And that means if this portion is considered as delta, then this part also will be delta. So this is all about the filter that we will be using to generate VSBAC signal. So in this VSBAC signal, this bandwidth is FM, to which an additional bandwidth of delta will be added, and so in this case the total bandwidth to be transmitted will be FM plus delta in comparison to these signals, where in this case the bandwidth is 2FM, in this case as well the bandwidth is 2FM, and in this case it is FM. So if we conclude about VSBAC signal, it is better than DSB-SC signal and DSB-FC signal, but in this case bandwidth required is higher than that in SSBAC signal. But the power required to transmit using VSBAC scheme is more or less same to the power required in SSBAC scheme, because you can see some portion of the upper sideband is also rejected in this case, and in place of that some portion of the lower sideband is taken. So power required is more or less same in these two conditions. The difference is that the bandwidth required is higher. Now let me wrap up things in 2 minutes. The block diagram of the modulating system is this. The message signal and the carrier signal are passed through a balance modulator. The output is passed through a non-ideal HPF or PPF, that is high pass filter or band pass filter, and the output of it will result in the VSBAC signal. The working is explained to you, and to understand HIF, I discussed the demodulation process. The demodulation is done by synchronous detection, and why envelope detection is not used is also explained to you. So in coherent detection, the block diagram is this. ZT is YT into CT. So ZF will be YF convolution CF, and it will be given by this. Replacing F in YF by F minus FC and F plus FC, we will get this, and putting these values in JF equation, we will get JF as this. And then they are passed through the low pass filter. So SF will be 1 by 4 into MF HIF plus FC plus HIF minus FC. And the condition for which we will be able to detect the actual signal, that is MF, will be this. We also learned the other condition, that is the slope here should be symmetric about FC. Let me also tell you why both high pass filter and band pass filter can be used. The high pass filter is like this, and the band pass filter will be something like this. But we are not bothered about this portion. Our only concern is for this portion. And I know you can understand that if we want to generate a VSBAC signal that has lower sideband in majority, then we have to use a low pass filter or a band pass filter. So I will not do that, and will let you to explore that. So that's the end of this segment. In this segment, we started with the advantages and disadvantages of SSBAC signal, and we also learned the applications of it. Then I moved into VSBAC signal, the generation of it, and the demodulation. So if the video was helpful, then don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends, and let me know if you are able to find the conditions for VSBAC signal that has lower sideband in majority. If you are new to this channel, then please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon so that you can get notified as soon as I will publish the new videos. You should also watch the videos that are already present in the playlist, and for the previous videos on SSBAC signal, the links will be given in the description box as well. So watch them if you want. Thanks for watching, do well, and keep on raising like a phoenix.